Hi, Epic Recaps here, and today I am going to explain to you a 2019 war comedy titled JoJo Rabbit. If you want to be spoiled, keep watching. The film opens and Jojo Betzler, a 10-year-old boy in Nazi Germany during the Second World War, is extremely patriotic and loves his country. Devoted to the Führer, his imaginary friend is Adolf Hitler, who he sees as his biggest cheerleader. Jojo and his best friend Yorkie attend a training camp for Hitler Youth, run by Captain Klesendorf, his second-in-command Finkel, and Fräulein Rahm. Jojo aspires to be the best junior Nazi at camp, but one day some of the older boys decide to test him on his commitment by commanding him to kill a rabbit. He can't do it, and so the boys start chanting JoJo Rabbit, and he runs away. Hitler tells him that rabbits have their good qualities, and to go back to them and prove them all wrong. As Klesendorf shows the youth how to toss an explosive, Jojo triumphantly takes the explosive and throws it into a tree. It bounces back and lands directly in front of him, exploding. Jojo is rushed to the hospital and goes in and out of consciousness as he recuperates. When he awakens at home, he's recovered but has scars on his face and a limp in one of his legs, and his mother Rosie tries to cheer him up. The following day, Rosie and Jojo prepare to head out, and when he tells her his scars make him look stupid, she tells him he's lucky. Not everyone can look stupid and she is cursed for her attractiveness. Throwing him a jacket, he's told to pluck up his courage and prepare for battle. She takes him to Klesendorf's office, where he and the rest of his crew have been demoted for the grenade incident. She knees him in between the legs and tells him to make Jojo feel included like all the other boys, seeing as he is the reason why the boy now walks with a limp. Rahm gives him a bag of propaganda posters to put up around town and spots his mother. Approaching her, he sees bodies hanging in the square and looks away. Rosie instructs him to look, and when he asks what they did, she answers, what they could. Later in the day, he arrives home and discovers his mom is still out. Hearing a noise upstairs, he investigates and searches his dead sister's bedroom. Noticing an unusual marking on the floor, he discovers a secret compartment and is startled to find Elsa Kor, a teenage Jewish girl, hiding inside. Jojo screams, and when she emerges, he runs and tumbles down the stairs. Running for the door, she overpowers him and tells Jojo that she is a guest of his mother's. Afraid that Rosie may ask her to leave now that Jojo has discovered her, she threatens to kill him if he tells Rosie, adding that if he told anyone else, the Gestapo will kill his mother for hiding her. Jojo runs back to his room and receives counsel from Hitler, who hints there may be thousands more hiding in his wall. They agree that the obvious next steps would be negotiation. Armed for battle, Jojo returns to Elsa and suggests she find another place to live. She appears from behind and, shoving him, she tells him to get the hell out of her room. Failing at the art of negotiations, Hitler gives him a pep talk and concocts a plan for Jojo to befriend Elsa, so that she will lower her guard and he can take back control. Later that night, he tells Rosie that he heard the ghost of his sister, and his mom reassures him that they have rats. Untrusting of Elsa, he guards Rosie with a poker, and after she puts him to bed, she tends to Elsa in the hiding place, telling her that she needs to be more quiet as her son is hearing noises. Elsa was a classmate and friend of her deceased daughter, and Rosie tries to keep Elsa's waning spirits up. The next day at camp, Jojo approaches Klesendorf and Finkel, and asks them what he should do if he ever saw a Jew. They tell him he should tell the Gestapo, who would come and kill the enemy, and then kill whoever is helping. When Jojo suggests that perhaps the helper has been hypnotized by the enemy, Rahm interjects and tells a crazy tale of a Jew who's done exactly that, and Klesendorf suggests a book be written about the freaky demon Jews. Back at home, Jojo believes the false anti-Jewish propaganda and thinks Elsa has demonic traits and evil intentions. He agrees not to tell anyone about her, and insists she provide him with details about the Jews so he can write a handbook that will help the Nazis. Elsa agrees and makes up wild stories about what Jews are like to appease him, and when she mentions that Rosie treats her like a person, Jojo tells her she's not considered a real person and berates her for being a member of a lesser race. Fed up with Jojo's self-serving anti-Semitism, she grabs him in a chokehold and, throwing him down, she asks if he's still the stronger race. Catching Hitler up with his progress, Rosie arrives home and heads to the fireplace to burn something. Later at dinner, Jojo is angry with his mother for hiding a Jew, but can't tell her because of his deal with Elsa, so he acts grumpy, accusing her of not loving her country. He tells her he wishes his missing in action father was here instead of her, so Rosie puts on a jacket and soot on her face and pretends to be his father, yelling at him for talking to his mother that way. She then tells JoJo to dance with her, believing that dancing is one of the few ways you can be free under the Nazi regime. JoJo continues his interviews with Elsa, who shows him a photo of her boyfriend and her locket, and tells him that Nathan will rescue her and take her to Paris. When he skeptically suggests she turn her back on Germany, she tells him that Germany turned on her first. Done with her drawing, JoJo looks down and sees a sketch of himself. Upset that she drew his head instead of where the Jews tend to live, she tells him she did exactly that, and that Jews only lived in his head. The next day, he visits the local library with Hitler, who rambles on about best ways to kill Elsa. Shushing his friend, JoJo gets down to work and later presents the fake letter to Elsa, claiming it's from Nathan. Reading it to her, Nathan writes that he lied about loving her and will not be coming to her rescue as he wants to break up. When Elsa leaves and cries in her hideout, JoJo gets another letter and returning, he reads that Nathan takes back what was said in the first one and is grateful for the boy who is taking care of her as he seems wise and brave. Behind the wall, Elsa smiles and opening the door, the pair silently reach a truce. They spend the rest of the afternoon challenging each other's wits, and when JoJo gets up to leave, she tells him to let her know if any more letters arrive. Out for a stroll on an empty bank, Rosie tells him the place used to be full of lovers. When JoJo lectures that they are at war and there's no place for romance, Rosie tells him he will fall in love one day and will know when he feels butterflies in his stomach. Hitler looks on disapprovingly and the pair contently ride home together, passing a truck full of wounded soldiers. Back at home, Elsa mistakes his lovesick moodiness for a bad day and offers to teach him more about the Jews. She makes things up as she goes, claiming they slept like bats and could read minds. Mentioning they also love shiny things, he asks if that includes ugly things as well, and looks up hoping that she answers yes. Returning to his room, JoJo and Hitler continue to have more arguments, with Hitler insisting that Elsa is a monster and JoJo beginning to question that. JoJo returns to the camp the next day and catches Klesnorf and Finkel gazing into each other's eyes. He shares his newfound knowledge about Jews, and when Klesnorf asks how he's come to know so much, JoJo tells him he's been researching, and the older man doesn't press further. JoJo is sent on a task to collect metal for the war effort. Dressed in a concealing costume, he spots Rosie leaving Free Germany postings around town. JoJo returns to the house and gives Elsa some colored pencils. When she offers to draw him, he tells her he's a cripple and will never get a chance to kiss a girl. She disagrees and offers to kiss him, but he won't accept her sympathy. After her bath, JoJo looks at her longingly and realizes he's fallen in love. Downstairs, the pair hear a knock at the door and Elsa returns to her hideout. JoJo allows the Gestapo, led by Captain Diertz, to enter and begin tearing the house apart as he looks on in panic. Out of nowhere, Klesnorf and Finkel arrive on the scene and claim to be dropping pamphlets off for JoJo. When they enter JoJo's room and begin to search it, Diertz hears a noise from upstairs and suggests they investigate. The officers begin their search and Diertz questions JoJo about Rosie's whereabouts and recent activity. When he denies knowing anything, the captain comments on his missing knife and Elsa suddenly appears, pretending to be JoJo's sister. The Gestapo demands her papers, and when she produces them, Klesnorf asks her to confirm her birthday, which she does, as a shaking JoJo looks on. After Diertz discovers JoJo's Jewish handbook, the men compliment her artistic talent and leave. Before leaving, Klesnorf tells JoJo he should stay home and take care of his family. JoJo is relieved, but it is short-lived when Elsa tells him that she got the date wrong on the papers and that Klesnorf helped them. He suggests that when the war is over she can take his sister's identity and they can live like friends. Elsa repeats his earlier words, that Nazis and Jews can't be friends. Downstairs, JoJo discusses his dilemma with Hitler, who gives a fiery speech about loyalty and what it means to be German. Later in the day, JoJo walks through the city and follows a butterfly to the square. Looking up, he recognizes Rosie's shoes and discovers she's been hung for her disloyalty. Hugging her shoes, he attempts to tie her laces but continues hugging her instead. Devastated, he returns home and stabs Elsa in the shoulder and falls to the ground, breaking down in tears. The pair spend the night looking out the window at bombs heard from afar. Elsa comforts him and she tells him the first thing she'll do when she's free is dance. In the days following Rosie's death, Elsa and JoJo spend their days keeping each other company, and he continues to write her letters from Nathan. In the city, JoJo runs into Yorkie, now a full soldier, who tells him that the Allies are closing in and that Hitler killed himself. JoJo is shocked, and sees Rom arming more children as the battle wages on. She gives him a Nazi coat, and instructs him to kill anything that doesn't look like them. He comes across Klesnorf and Finkel, wearing homemade uniforms emblazoned with pink triangles as they make their final stand. The Allies win the battle and Soviet troops round up all the Nazis to be executed, including JoJo. Klesnorf tells JoJo his mother was a good person, and instructs the young boy to take care of that sister of his. Ripping JoJo's jacket off, he calls him a Jew and spits on him. The soldiers remove JoJo, who screams as Klesnorf is executed. Later, he is reunited with Yorkie, who wonders what they're going to do now. Realizing Elsa is free to go, he runs home, and when she asks who won, JoJo, who has fallen in love with her, lies and says Germany to keep her from leaving. Recognizing her devastation, he gets a new letter from her boyfriend that says he and JoJo have figured out a way to smuggle her out. Elsa confesses that her boyfriend died of tuberculosis and thanks him for the letters. JoJo tells her he loves her, and she tells him she loves him too, in a little brother way. Hitler confronts JoJo, who kicks him out of the window, rejecting him fully, and finally, JoJo takes Elsa outside, and when she sees an army truck drive by with a US flag, she turns back to him and slaps him. Admitting he deserved that, he's unsure of what to do now. And so they dance. Did you enjoy the movie? Let us know in the comments below, and if you want to see more, check out our recap of The King's Man, a tale of three cousins who started the First World War.